Welcome back, guys, to Pirate Talk Radio. I hope everyone has been doing great. I know we've had a little bit of a delay in the last episode. Just to give you a rundown, as I've said multiple times, work has been nuts. Like, I have been working, I took, at the time of this recording, it's the July 4th weekend in the U.S., and I took Friday, July 5th off so I could have July 4th, July 5th, 6th, 7th is a weekend. And then Monday, the 8th, I have off as well, just to decompress because I've been working every single day, including Saturdays and Sundays for my job. I know we had a Sea of Thieves stream for Community Weekend. We had Sea of Thieves stream recently, but those have been really my only times. And quite frankly, as soon as I got done with the streams, I had a series of text messages, emails, phone calls that I missed from work and having to go in either in the evenings or throughout the day on Sunday. It's been a lot. It's been too much, if you ask me. But that's where we currently are. Got to pay the bills and got to take care of the family and everything. So that's why episodes have been a little slow. But I hope you did enjoy the last episode with our little walk down memory lane as far as history. Hopefully you learned a little bit about some pirate history. We are going to do some more of those coming up today. We were not going to do those because I do have work to do today. Unfortunately, even though I did take the weekend off, I do still have some work to do today. And yeah, so we're going to cover some Sea of Thieves today, some of the news, some stuff coming up, and then I'm going to talk about what I think is going to happen in season 13. And yes, the negative Nancy is going to happen. We are going to talk about things that I don't think are going to be good choices in season 13. I have not checked out any of the content except what has been released by Rare in their trailers, but I'm already starting to see some challenges that are probably going to arise and make the overall play some challenging, especially for some players. I think it'll be a fun event with Flameheart and everything, but I think there's going to be some challenges and some frustration points for a lot of the players engaging in that particular thing. But before we get into that challenge, the people who are not challenged are the patrons, and I want to thank them for continuing to support me month in and month out. Even though some of the content has been slow, I appreciate their financial support, and that is Big Bad Pad, L Cute, I Geffus, and Skimelt666. Thank you very much for your continued support. And again, if you would like to come over and join the illustrious and notorious patrons, patreon.com/DavrimTV. You get special Discord channels, special Discord titles. You also have access to our guild, and I can get you and some family members in. We got plenty, or friends. We got plenty of space in the guild. I think we're, 20s, 30s now in the guild. So guild is going up. We are small, but we are feisty. And the more people we have, the more fun we can have, and the more that guild rank goes up. So definitely check out the Patreon, patreon.com/DavrimTV. Currently running right now, and by the time you hear this episode, unless you're a patron, Twitch drops might be over. But right now there are Twitch drops going on for Sea of Thieves. I believe it is partners only. So let me just give you a rundown on these. These are new Twitch drops. We haven't seen these particular drops before. So it is something new for you to dive into and get your hands on. These are not reprints, as you were, but we have the trumpet, the spyglass, the pocket watch, and the compass. And that's the seaweed sailor compass. So that's a new cool looking compass. And the other ones are Sea Dog pocket watch, the Sea Dog spyglass, and the Sea Dog speaking trumpet. Not the original Sea Dog, which is the obsidian, but this is a recolor of that. So total, I believe, of 4 hours in order to get your hands on those particular items. I got mine yesterday. I was doing some streaming on one of my all-time favorite games, EverQuest, over on Twitch. We also had it on YouTube, but YouTube streaming is really weird, especially when I have time to do long streams. It kicks you off after so many hours. So I think what I'm going to do is we're just going to stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Davrim, if you haven't already went over there and followed. And then what I'll do is any stream that we do on Twitch, I will also put it over on the Pirate Talk Radio YouTube as a stream VOD, so you can check that out if you are interested in watching any of the streams that you may have missed. Obviously, Twitch has a VOD section, but YouTube's VOD section is YouTube's basically known for its VODs and videos on demand and recorded content. So a couple other things that are coming up next week for all you wonderful folks over in Europe, or those folks who are traveling over there, please be safe. We have Sea of Thieves Fest. Now, I unfortunately was not able to make last year. There were some communication breakdowns. No fault of anyone at Sea of Thieves Fest. No fault of my own. Just some misunderstandings in me going over there. Just they thought I was coming. I had no intention of coming unless I got invited. And so it was just kind of a weird situation. I've talked to them, and hopefully I'll be able to get back to Sea of Thieves Fest here next year, maybe. This year it was something I wanted to do, but unfortunately the travel costs over to Europe right now are very high from the United States because of the Summer Olympic Games, which will be going on in July. So yeah, it's going to be crazy travel. So again, everyone over there traveling to Sea of Thieves West, please have fun, but also please be safe, as it is going to be a lot of people traveling over in the European area, mostly into France, but obviously if you're mainland Europe going up to the UK in order to see Sea of Thieves Fest, and you're taking trains or even planes, it's going to be busy. It's going to be crazy in the airports and stuff. So just please be careful when you're traveling. It's a crazy world out there. So yeah, absolutely be careful. And then the week after that, we have Fest of Legends here in the United States, of which, if I haven't announced it yet, I'm going to say now, I can't remember if I said before, I am the official host and master of ceremonies for Fest of Legends in the United States. So you will be seeing a lot of me if you are there. You will be hearing a lot of me as I'm on the microphone doing panels, and we're doing mini Race of Legends with the little sailboats that you can paint and decorate. Obviously, Cutlass Crusades and Race of Legends in game, great prizes. We've got the Parkinson's Foundation again as a silent auction. Extra Life for Nationwide Children's Hospital will be there with an absolutely outstanding pirate-based board game raffle, and potentially an Xbox Sea of Thieves raffle as well. Just depends on how that all plays out. But if you are coming to Fest of Legends, I will be around. I will have my little trading cards that I can sign for you. I'll probably, I think, have Pirate Talk Radio stickers. I've got to check my stock. I know a lot of folks ran me out of those last year, but I think I may still have some somewhere. Potentially, maybe, but at least I have the trading cards for you that I can sign, and you can take something with you. There's a lot of cool merch, artists, and handmade stuff there, so definitely come by if you're able to check it out. Tickets are still on sale, both 3-day tickets and 1-day tickets for Saturday, which will be the rare panel with Mike Chapman, Shelley Preston, and Andrew Preston, hosted by the great Athena legend himself, Hitbo. So I'm super excited about that. Again, that's 2 weeks away. Next week's Sea of Thieves Fest, and then Fest of Legends in Columbus, Ohio. So super excited. I hope to see as many of you there as I can. And again, don't be shy. Come up and talk to me. Though I play one on the internet, I'm a very introverted person when I'm out in social environments, unless I have a couple drinks in me, and then I'm more social. But in general, if you see me, make sure you come up and say hello. I'll be bobbing and weaving around all over the place. So do come up and say hello. I will also be posting, or I will also be hosting the after party on Saturday, where we will be having karaoke and there will be a musical act, which I'm super excited for. I think there's some trivia, Sea of Thieves trivia going on, just a lot of fun stuff. I might even get on the microphone and do Shove It Home. We'll see. If you've not been in my streams to listen to my awful song Shove It Home that I got from the Ohio Renaissance Fair, it's something. It's something. But we are not keeping it PG-13 at the after party. It's going to be crazy, and there's going to be a lot of drinking toasts that are adult themed. So just stay tuned if you're coming. I hope to see you, and I hope we have a good time. So. All right, into Sea of Thieves. Now, we talked about the rebalance of the ship speeds, right? That is coming. That is something that they've talked about. Mr. Stevens, Drew Stevens, has talked about that it's coming. So, a little bit more details on this from a video that was released from them. So, here's kind of the breakdown. So, right now, or what we're used to in Sea of Thieves and how it's been for a long time, is if you're sailing directly into the wind, so headwind, the wind is coming directly at the front of your ship. It's supposed to be the sloop is the fastest. Of course, the fastest way to angle your sails is to have them flat where the wind is hitting them directly, or as we call dummy sails, or sails to stupid if you are a longtime player of this game. A lot of this is changing, and what we understand about the sail movement should already be in the game, and we should be already experiencing this. But for those of you who didn't hear that release and listen to this for your news, let me kind of break it down for you. So the first thing is, in headwinds, going directly into the wind, wind's hitting you, the rebalance should be sloop is the fastest, followed by the brig, followed by the galleon. And the reasoning behind that is the less sails you have, the less drag you have. So the sloop has one sail to slow them down. The brig has two, the galleon has three. So yeah, you should be slower the more sails that you have down. Now, I don't think they've taken into account if the galleon raises two of their sails, they only have one, but it's a bigger boat. You know, it needs more energy to propel it forward. So I don't think you're going to be super slow if you have one sail down. From a tailwind, so that is full billow, wind coming directly behind you into your sails. Sloop is the slowest, galleon is the fastest, brig is in the middle. So here's the theme, right? Brig is in the middle. Crosswind, so that is wind coming across your ship. It is galleon is the fastest, brig is in the middle, and the sloop is the slowest with crosswind. Again, it has to do with the amount of billow in the amount of sails you have. Now, why is this such a major change? Well, the brig has been, unfortunately, due to bugs, changes, the fastest across the board. It doesn't matter what happens, the brig is been the fastest. With proper sail management, of course. If you don't have proper sail management, all this stuff that I've just said, just throw it out the window, because if you're not managing your sails properly, you're not going to get any benefit, and you're just going to have a lot of hard times. So the big change, though, is when it comes to headwind or wind coming at you, you don't have crosswind, you can't get tailwind or full billow. That is where things get interesting, because if you have some sort of headwind, maybe slightly left, slightly right, it has always been sails stupid. So you keep the sails flat, and that's the fastest you can go. But with these changes, the galleon or the brig, or potentially even the sloop, you angle your sails left or right, whichever side that wind is on. It doesn't give you a billow, but it will reduce the drag, according to Drew, and the changes that they've made here in June, back in June. And now you should see some speed differences. Again, sloop being the fastest in the headwind, but again, you don't want sails to stupid. You want them either left or right based on how the wind's coming in, and that will give you a better experience and more speed, with, of course, the sloop being the fastest in that, the brig being the second, and the galleon being behind. Now, I've played on the weekends on my Saturday streams, and I haven't really noticed a huge difference overall in the overall impact of the wind changes. Now, I also didn't really care to really dive in and test it out, but overall it didn't. I mean, we are a crew that adjusts our sails pretty good. We keep our sail management, in check even during battle. So I don't think we've ever really had an issue with wind. We just have to make the adjustment now where headwind, we have to slightly turn that particular sail left or right in order to get somewhat of a crosswind. I'm really interested though, in the overall feedback and any sort of additional changes that they might make in this, because this is a huge change from how the game has been for quite some time, with being the brig being the dominant force on the seas as far as speed. Again, sail management is very important, but the brig has been overpowered for a while. Now, there's a lot of folks out there who like the brig, a lot of folks out there who like the sloop, and I would say not many people out there who like the galleon, just because it's slow. It's slow and it's hard to turn and navigate. I enjoy the galleon, but I'll tell you what, it is a beast to manage. It is definitely, I would say, hard mode. Even though solo sloop is probably the hardest mode, the galleon sinks really quickly. It's not that challenging to sink a galleon when you see it out on the waves. Even as a solo slooper, if you get the right angles on a galleon, they're not going to survive. So yeah, I'm anxious to see how that plays out. If you've experienced the new changes, what do you think about them? Drop me a message in the Discord, or in the YouTube comments. Let me know what you think of the changes that they have made with the wind. Does it improve your experience? Does it make your experience worse? Or is there no change to how you're playing because you manage your sails and you're a badass? Let me know. The next thing that Drew talked about, and I was anxious to see when they were going to start making some of these changes, and that is weapon balancing with the introduction of the throwing knives and with the introduction of the double-barreled pistol. Now, here is we'll talk about the balance changes in a second, but here's my thing that bothers me. What bothers me is it's not always buffing that makes balances work. Sometimes you have to significantly nerf and look at, just because you've done this way for years does not necessarily mean it needs to stay this way. For example, I have been a huge advocate to get rid of the one blunder, or the single tap blunder, for a very long time. I don't think it because of how combat is in the game, with hit registration, with how bad sword play sword was getting really good for a while with good sword play, but now it's back in the garbage where you can't block and you have issues with the stunning and things like that. With how bad the combat has been historically in this game, I don't think we should have a gun that can just one-tap you. I just don't like it. And I know there's people out there who play solo sloop, and I know the double gunners, like, that is their bread and butter, is the one-tap blunder. But in my opinion, it shouldn't be there. Until combat is clean, hit registration is nearly 100% accurate all the time, and you have proper sword play, I honestly don't think any weapon that a player wields should one-tap you, period. End of story. Now, once you get your combat system cleaned up and it's working on a consistent basis, then maybe we can discuss having that. But right now, as it is right now, no. It really needs to go away, and it's very unfortunate that we still have it. And it feels really bad. I know I was getting very frustrated in the combat situation in my last stream, because the sword wasn't blocking, it wasn't doing the proper stuns, and then on top of that, I would go blunder to someone, I would fire first, they wouldn't get knocked back, and then I would get one blundered. And that just feels really, really bad. Two people, point blank range, aiming down sights, one person fires, doesn't kill the other one, doesn't get a knockback, and then the other person just one blunders and wins. And it just doesn't feel good. And so it was really just a bummer that they didn't address that, especially when he came out and said the blunder and the sword are currently the top weapons in the meta. Well, of course they are. You start slashing someone, they can't get out of it, they can't block, there's no chance. Of course that's going to be used. And a blunder, even if the one blunder shot is not 100% because of hit registration, if you get a one blunder, awesome. Like, that's why people use that gun, because they want to be able to kill someone in one shot. I really just think they need to reassess and not necessarily buff things, but also relook at how the combat is overall bad, and bring stuff down to make combat at least more fun. Because right now it's combat is not fun in PvP or PvE. I mean, skeletons, for God's sakes, just wreck you with their swords and with their lunges, and they interrupt your swords, and you can't block. It's just bad. So what did they change? They buffed the double barrel pistol. They didn't make any changes to the throwing knife, but they did buff the double barrel pistol. And how they did that was they created the charge rate, which allows you to fire the 2 shots. They increased the speed of which it does that. So you charge it faster to get to your 2 shots. And then they also increased its accuracy from hip fire, which is a single shot. I think you can, I don't know if you can charge it off in hip fire, but anyways, the hip fire has also had an accuracy increase. They also changed the damage that it does with the charge shot up to 90 out of 100. So your pirate, all pirates have 100 hit points. The double barrel pistol full charge will now do 90 of your 100 hit points. So almost a one shot. Pretty close to that blunderbuss, but of course, God forbid we touch the illustrious one-tap blunder. But I don't know. I like the double barrel pistol. It still feels a little clunky and awkward to me personally. But I've been playing with it. I do have a lot of fun with it. I think it's cool looking. I think the charge double shot is kind of cool. But at the end of the day, let's be honest. Nothing currently right now is going to beat a double gunner who uses Eye of Reach, flintlock, and weapon or cancels, right? Or blunder, flintlock. You know, any double gunner who uses the weapon cancel or the reload cancel ability, you're not going to beat them because they're going to be able to 2-tap you before you can do anything. Again, I know I've heard several conversations about that, and you know, the sweaty sweat lords, they say, well, if you get killed by it, learn how to do it. And I don't think that is the right answer. One, it's not intended by the game to be able to quick swap. They've already tried to take it out once. They failed. They made it more hard to quick swap, but at the end of the day, you can still quick swap. It just takes a little bit more skill. And even though they say everyone can quick swap, that is an inaccurate statement. Not everyone can quick swap based on, you know, the system that they're running, the controller they're on. No, it is an inaccurate statement that everyone can quick swap. It's just not true. Furthermore, and again, Sea of Thieves is a game built for everyone of all ages. You can't expect someone who has a disability or an exceptionality to be able to quick swap. And sure, the sweaty sweat lords, I've heard the comments, well, just get good, or don't play the game, or just understand you're going to get beat. And that's not the way Sea of Thieves has designed this game. They have went above and beyond to make it, or try to make it, an equal playing field that everyone can enjoy regardless of your skill and regardless of anything else. Yes, there is a skill-based aspect of the game as far as aiming projectiles and things like that. Being able to know how to manage sails and work a ship. That's the skill-based aspect of the game. If you want a skill-based shooter game, go play Call of Duty. Go play I won't even say Overwatch. Go play Counter-Strike. Those are Modern Warfare. Those are your skill-based shooter games. Sea of Thieves is a shooter game, but it's part of a bigger picture, which is a pirate game. This game is not and I understand that we have Race of Legends. I understand that we have Cutlass Crusades. I understand that we have these competitive aspects of the game. At the end of the day, Sea of Thieves is not a competitive shooter. And if you think it is and you want it to be a competitive shooter, you're going to be sorely and upset. I do think there's things that Rare can do to give a competitive feel to the game. For example, this weekend, or the last stream we did, we tried to do some hourglasses. We did, I think, 3 or 4 hourglasses and got the same 2 teams. We got one team 3 times, another team twice. It was not fun. The MMR system in Hourglass is not fun. And more so, like, the teams were way better than us, like way better skill wise than us, probably on comms, probably just grinding out the hourglass. And you know what? That's fine. If you are good at Sea of Thieves, if you're good at PvP, if you're good at Hourglass, that's awesome. In my opinion, Sea of Thieves should create a emissary like ladder for those players who want that high-end competitive matchmaking, the people who want the sweaty of the sweat lords to show that they are the best person in Sea of Thieves PvP, and just have that. Now, again, there's issues with hackers, there's issues with exploiters, there's issues with all that kind of stuff right now. But again, if you want a competitive mode, Rare, just add a emissary ledger, and all it is a ladder-based system where you queue into Hourglass and you say, I want to play anyone at any time, and my rank, my skill is all captured in the ladder, and each month the ladder, or each quarter the ladder resets, and you go at it again and make it a competition. You could do that. Again, it's going to take some extra development, but for the rest of us, fix the MMR system and make the features in the game that you have allowed to come in with bugs and exploits like quick swapping, get it out. Like, do what you can to get it out. I know they're focused on new content. I'm anxious to see what Season 13 is going to bring as far as bug fixes, exploit fixes, changes, balances, and stuff like that. Because from what I can see, the only thing we're gaining, I think we're gaining some new skeleton hand-in stuff around the Burning Blade, and we're gaining the Burning Blade World Event ship, which I've got thoughts on that, which we'll talk about in a minute. But where is the time currently being spent right now getting some of this stuff cleaned up? Servers are shit right now. Server performance is garbage, and combat feels like absolute turd. And then on top of that, you've got issues like hot swap. It's really just, combat is not fun in Sea of Thieves right now, and that is a major part of the game, and it's just not enjoyable. I know there's a lot of folks out there who are playing Sea of Thieves every single day. I can't because I get frustrated when I pull the trigger and something doesn't get hit. I can't when I block with a sword and it doesn't block. Like, these things frustrate me because they're basic functionalities of the game and they haven't been fixed, and whenever they get slightly better, they degrade over the course of a season. And then of course Drew comes in and admits our servers are shit, we've got a lot of things to work on, and it's becoming a meme in the community. You're absolutely right. Sea of Thieves is becoming a meme of a game because you cannot get your development clean. You cannot get your servers thing. And I've stayed away from these types of rants for a long time. I know people have asked, where are the rants? Why aren't you ranting on stuff like things are shit? You know what? I tried to step away from a little bit because every episode was becoming ranting. But like, we're back at that point where server connections, disconnects, crashes, and it's all garbage. And when you have your main production guy coming on their news and saying our servers and stuff are becoming a meme, that's bad. That's bad as a company and an organization, when literally the guy comes out and says, well, things are shit right now. You all know it. You've known it for a while. It's becoming a meme, but we're going to try to address it. Well, how are you going to try to address it? Because we're about to Season 13, and I feel like every single week I log in, your servers have gotten a little bit worse, and combat interactions have gotten a little bit worse. Like, where is the memory leak? The issues that I see every single time this type of stuff happens with the degradation, I'm not a code. I'm not a code genius. I'm not a developer, okay? but I could see a memory leak when I get one. Degradation and performance is 100% tied to some sort of memory leak or code leak, and it needs to be addressed because it still continues to be there. And in this last video that Drew put up here about these balancing changes, he's like, yeah, we know there's issues, we just haven't figured out how to get our hands around it. Then what the fuck are you doing? Why are you paying these developers? Why are you paying the leadership over at Rare if you can't figure out how to figure out the code of your game? Literally, you have had server issues for years. You have had combat issues for years. And coming out on a video and saying, yeah, we just can't get the handle on it. Well, what the hell are you getting paid for? Like, come on. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I do not like advocating for people to lose their jobs, but dear God, there is a problem over at Rare, and it starts from the top down because the mediocrity in the code is just laughable. The fact that the leadership over there running the show is okay with mediocrity and having, don't get me wrong, I give all the credit in the world to Drew because he's the one that has to get out there and say, hey, it's fucked. Hey, it's bad. We're trying, but we don't know. Like, where is Joe Neat? Get Joe Neat's face out there and tell us what you're doing. Tell us what headcount changes you're making over there to make this better. What are you doing? I'm so happy that you guys are actually hitting a time frame on seasons where they're 3-month seasons after that clusterfuck we had last year. But come on, it's got to be clean, it's got to be good, and you have to be focused on fixing things because shit's getting bad real quick. And like, not too long ago, I remember sitting on episodes talking about how good the servers felt and how good swordplay felt and the improvements in the combat. I remember, episodes ago, I was talking about that. There are months of episodes ago that I was talking about that. It hasn't been for a while, but I've been talking about that. And I was saying how great you guys were doing. And now we're back in the shit. What, did everyone decide, hey, summer isn't the time to work and we're all going home or working from home because it's nice outside? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, we need asses and seats coding until this shit's fixed. Or, I don't even know what to tell you. Because I can tell you this. I don't think the season 13 is going to be I don't think it's going to be positive in the overall community. I think there's some people that are going to have a good time with it, but I don't think season 13 is going to be a positive update at all. And let me tell you why I think that. So season 13 scheduled July 25th for launch. So that is the week after Fest of Legends in the United States. So 3 weeks from now. So get your season pass done. I know I've got a couple more ranks to go in order to get mine done. But here's your warning: don't forget about your season pass because it's about to be over. So in season 13, the thing we know we're getting is Flameheart's Return, and with Flameheart's Return is going to come the Burning Blade. And it is going to be a world event that we know of, according to what they've talked about. It is going to be a world event where players are able to battle and then capture the Burning Blade and swear allegiance to Flameheart, and then captain the Burning Blade to do whatever they want. Now, according to what we've heard, they're supposed to be going out in search of these relics and taking the relics to skeletal fort locations and turning them in. However, you've got a badass ship, and according to what we know, it has a crew of skeletons. AI skeletons, which basically have cannon and Eye of Reach aimbot. They can repair, I'm assuming, and they could do everything a normal skeleton crew is going to do on a large ship. Now, with the players on there, I don't know necessarily because I don't do insiders. how many skeletons you get, but I assume that there is going to be a certain number of skeletons that ship is going to have, regardless of the number of players on there, because it's a big ship and it's going to take a lot to operate it. And I'm sure the skeletons aren't going to have the ability to angle sails. I doubt they'll have the ability to fire the big flaming cannon in the front. But I would assume that the skeletons are going to be able to repair and fire the guns on the side, the 4 guns on either side, just like on a galleon. So here, let me just pose this idea to you. You have a galleon crew of 4 people that are now on the burning blade. You have a skeleton force that will repair the ship, a skeleton force that will shoot the cannons. So what's to say you can't have one person who's driving the boat and 3 people shooting over to board their enemy ship, let's say a sloop, while the cannons are still being fired by AI skeletons? Now, to me, that sounds awful, because already, depending on the players, you can defend the boards, but how many people are climbing up your ladders right now? Maybe 1, maybe 2. And if there's 1 or 2 off the ship, the cannon fire is a whole lot less. But if you've got AI skeletons shooting cannons while you've got the majority of your crew off the ship going for a board, now the enemy ship has to not only defend the ladders against 2, 3 people at a time, but they also have to worry about the cannon fire coming in, getting one-balled, getting shot by the skeletons. Like, to me, this sounds like an absolutely awful player experience. When I heard that they were bringing the Burning Blade in, I was hoping it was going to be a world event, like a raid. It was going to be a very hard fight that multiple crews had to help each other beat, but then they could fight over the treasure. That's what I was hoping for. What we're getting, I have a fear, is going to be a miserable player experience for anyone who's on a server. And I'm warning you now. The sweaty PvP players, they are going to be the ones that are going to get this boat. Because they can now go do what they like, which is board people. They could go kill people. And they've got a boat firing cannons because they've got skeleton crew there. I guarantee you that the sweaty PvPers are going to be on these and just blowing people out of the water. And I think the concept is cool, but I have a feeling the execution in typical Rare fashion is going to be horrible. It is going to be just this, tools not rules. It's going to be this whole, this is a cool thing. And people are going to absolutely hate getting dumpstered on by a player-controlled burning blade. And I just feel like this is going to be the norm throughout season 13. And my guess is Rare is then going to struggle for maybe weeks, months, hell, years to figure out the proper balance of AI skeletons versus players. Is it, if you have 1 player on there, then you've got AI skeletons? If you've got 4 players on there, you don't have AI skeletons, but then maybe the burning blade is easier to sink because you can't repair? I don't know. I have a feeling this is going to be a balancing nightmare for them. And I really feel that they could have had a great raid event, world raid event, that they've never done before, where it's a challenge for multiple players, multiple crews, to figure out how to put bygones aside, forget about putting PvP aside, beat the hell out of the burning blade, and then PvP and fight over the treasure. That to me could have been really cool. It could have been like old Skeletal Forts or Fort of the Damned or Fort of Fortune, where you kind of plan in your future PvP while you're still fighting the current thing. Maybe sneak on someone's ship, tuck, help them. I don't know. But I think that could have been a way, way better thing where, who do I trust? What's going on? I have to pay attention to the player ship, but I also have to pay attention to this big hulking beast of a ship. instead of what I feel is going to be a sweaty PvP dominated just about every single server when they get control of the Burning Blade for however long their PlayStation is. That's how I see this happening. I really see it happening that way. And I don't have any evidence about that. I've just been looking at videos and trailers from what people have been talking about this event, and I just see this potentially being really bad and causing months, weeks, or months, or I hope not years, of balancing to figure out how to get this right. I just think they missed the board on this. I think, again, they had a cool idea in their head, and I just don't think it's going to play out the way that their idea works. And I hope I'm wrong, but I just have this bad feeling. So if you're excited for season 13, awesome. I'm excited for season 13 just to see any sort of new balances they're going to do, any sort of new fixes they're going to do. I'm excited to see what they're going to do. But I just feel like the new flagship part of their update is not going to be enjoyable for the majority of players. It's going to be a cool event if you can get it when it's AI controlled, but once it's controlled by any sort of player who enjoys PvP, it's going to be a miserable experience. So, there you go. There you go. All right, folks, I know it was a short episode this week, but quite frankly, there's not a lot going on in Sea of Thieves right now, and mainly one of the reasons that I really haven't been playing a whole lot, just because the servers are garbage and the combat's bad, and I just have to finish up my my plunder pass, and then I'm set until season 13. So again, I streamed quite a bit this weekend, the weekend that this is coming out, hopefully getting more streams in. Again, go over and check out twitch.tv/Davrim. I'm probably going to be playing a lot of my favorite game of all time, which is not Sea of Thieves. It is EverQuest. It is a MMO that came out in 1999. Love the game to death. But I know several of you who listen have stopped by and talked. Don't think just because I'm not playing Sea of Thieves, you can't come in and talk to me about Sea of Thieves. We are having a great conversation. In fact, yesterday about Fest of Legends and some of the events going on there and some of the cool stuff. People were getting some behind the scenes because there's some Fest of Legends staff members in there that we were chatting about. So people who were in the stream got some behind the scenes looks at what they're going to be able to experience at Fest of Legends. But my streams are just about me doing whatever I'm doing and chilling out and having good conversations. So please do check that out. Make sure you also go over to youtube.com/@Pirate Talk Radio. That is the @ symbol on your keyboard. Hit that subscribe button so we can get that channel popping up and getting some more views over there on the podcast for those who like to listen/watch my face for some reason. But guys, thank you very much. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you next time on Pirate Talk Radio.